Anyone who goes out in public wearing a handlebar knows that you're going to get a lot of compliments, but you're also going to get a large majority of people asking, how do you do that? The answer is wax. Mustache wax in particular. I use Clubman brown to match the hairs on my head. But let me go into a little bit more detail about how I do mine. Now the first part is to make sure your hands and the hairs of your mustache are completely dry. And comb them out away from the center to make sure they're sticking out to the side. Then put a large helping of wax on your fingers and spread it, starting in the center, moving towards the outside, making sure the hairs are completely coated and stuck together. Otherwise they'll curl up later in the day and start to tickle your nose. Then get even more wax on your fingers and start running it through the longer hairs at the end while twisting to make sure that they glom together into one long spear. Once it's thoroughly coated and straightened out, you can tuck the end of it behind the main body and roll it up into a little circle. Now you can basically repeat the exact same thing on the other side. I'm not gonna lie, this whole process is rather messy, but at the very least it doesn't take very long. As you can see in this video, it only took me about 3.5 minutes from start to finish, and that's with taking extra care to make sure it was perfect for, video purposes. Perhaps the hardest part of doing this process is making sure that the two sides are symmetrical, namely that the ringlets are about the same diameter and sitting at about the same height. One thing that can help with this is when they're turned into a circle, take the end part that intersects the main body of the mustache and squeeze it together just like this, and it will stick with the wax there and hold it into exactly the same shape, same height and radius if you're doing it right. Also, it might prevent it from unrolling sooner throughout the day. Now you need to thoroughly wash your fingers. The nice thing about Clubman wax is that it's completely water soluble, so it'll come off your fingers easily. The downside, of course, is that it's completely water soluble, so it'll come off your mustache easily. This could be a problem if you find yourself caught out in the rain, but in this particular situation, it means that before you touch your mustache again, you have to completely dry your fingers. Now, grab a piece of toilet paper to do the cleanup work. You can wipe all the excess wax that has gotten onto your cheeks, behind the ends here, all around the borders. The part up close to your nose usually needs to be cleaned off. The upper lip, all the way up to the bottom of the edge of the mustache. And if you're like me, you might want to keep your philtrum clear. I like to have that stark separation between the two halves. Some people want to have good coverage there as well, so maybe not as applicable to you, but again, this is about the way I do it. And once you have used the dry paper towel to remove all the excess wax from around your mustache, you're basically done. Hope you enjoyed.